Hi you guys! For Fun Science this week, I thought it would be super cool if we used peeps for two reasons. The first reason is they're like little chick peeps and we're going to try to hatch our own chicken eggs. And the second reason is I thought you may end up having some left over from your long Easter weekend. I thought that would be fun. So I went ahead and put a video for you guys to watch on how peeps are made. The first thing, before we talk about that, let's talk about this. Here is this peep. I'm holding it in my hand. Last week when we did videos on oobleck, Mrs. Lloyd talked to you about states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. Remember with the oobleck we could go between states of it acting as a solid and states of it acting like a liquid. So if we were to ask ourselves what state of matter is our peep in right now, what would you say that would be? It is that solid, you're right. Remember that something that's acting in the solid state is going to keep its shape. I'm holding this in my hand, it's not changing shape. In fact, the only right way it's going to change shape is if I force it to. If I tear it apart, or if I do something to it that's going to make it change its shape. But let's think back to the video on how peeps were made. The video said when it first started it had that big turning machine and it had sugar in there and it was adding yellow food coloring. And then it said that the other ingredients that they'll use to make the peeps are gelatin, corn syrup, and air. Now air is really interesting because air is a state of matter that is a gas. And I hadn't told you about that before. So when something is in a state of gas, then what it does is it takes the shape of whatever you put it in. So if I'm talking about air, which air is inside peeps, it's taking the shape of peeps. If I take air and put it inside this balloon, it's acting as a gas. It's going to take the shape of the balloon. There you go. So the state of matter, the air is that we breathe, or that I would blow into this balloon, or that was mixed in with the food to make this peep, is called the state of being in a gas state. There's other kinds of gases that you may not know about, things that are in the state of gas, like helium. If you've ever seen a balloon that just floats by itself and it doesn't need you to hold it up, it's just a floating balloon, that balloon has helium in it, and helium is in the state of gas also. So air is not the only thing that can be in the state of gas. So knowing that we have a bunch of air in our peep, if I put it in water, and I want to know, is this peep going to float? I'm going to think of, well, what is this peep made of? This peep is made of sugar. Well, sugar is going to dissolve. Dissolve means it's just going to become part of the water. Corn syrup, same thing. It's going to dissolve. So will the gelatin. But the air is what is going to be helping the peep to float. Something that has air in it will float. It will not sink down into the water. If I filled up my balloon and I tied it and I put it on top of the water, it would float too. So another thing I did is I took a peep and I put it in the freezer. I wanted to see what would happen if I made the peep really cold, to see would that change the effect of the air at all. So let me take it out of the freezer. Oh my goodness. I just took my peep out of the freezer, and what I have to tell you is that this peep, it's hard. And the peep that's at room temperature is really squishy and soft. This one, watch. It makes a loud noise when I drop it. This one, a really soft noise, like a big marshmallow, right? So I'm wondering if this frozen one is going to still float even though I put it in the freezer. So in this bowl, I'm gonna go ahead and put my frozen peep, because well, I can tell you it feels like it's heavier. It's definitely harder. I'm just watching it right now. It went down deeper into the water much faster, and I think that's because it's harder. I think that what's happening inside this Peep is that when you make it cold, all of the molecules in the air are actually getting closer together, which makes it feel harder. Whereas in my Peep that's at room temperature floating, all of the air that's mixed in there is just holding within the shape and they're not getting closer together. One last thing that I think is really fun to play with for experiments in Peeps is to heat it up and see what we can do to the air inside Peeps if we heat it up really fast in the microwave. So let's go ahead and put our Peep in the microwave. I went ahead and put a plate in there, put my Peep in there. You may not see it very well, so you may have to do this one mostly at home. I'm gonna start my time for just a minute, but I'm just gonna watch it, see what will happen. So far, nothing is happening. Oh no, I see it's getting super big and puffy. Oh my goodness, it's a giant puffy. It's almost like a balloon filling up with air. Oh my goodness, look how puffy it is. Wow, I can't even tell the shape it is anymore because it has puffed out so much. That is crazy. Now it just looks like a big glob of goop. It reminds me of that oobleck story we read, right? Oh my goodness, it is so big. Okay, I'm gonna stop it so we can talk about it real fast. Look at what it looks like now. It is so puffy. Why do you guys think that happens? I'm gonna go ahead and tell you why. It has something to do with the air that was mixed in this Peep. When we started heating up the air, the molecules in the air, remember gas will fill whatever container it's in. Just like when we blow up a balloon, air, which is at the state of gas, will fill up the balloon. When we started heating it up, the molecules inside this air started pushing out and trying to get further away. So when they did that, it made this really, really puffy, which is super funny. And then once they escaped from the Peep, now all I have is this messy, goopy, gloppy mess. The same kind of thing happens when you're roasting marshmallows and making s'mores on like a campfire. So if you have a marshmallow and you're holding it over the flame and you're heating it up, basically what's happening is the air inside the marshmallow is in the state of gas and the molecules in there are getting really excited and pushing apart from each other, and it makes it puff up really big like that. The same kind of thing happened with our Peep. And thinking about s'mores, to finish the video, I want to talk about one more thing. My favorite thing to do with s'mores. If you have graham crackers, chocolate, and Peeps, the most fun thing to do with Peeps is make a little Peep s'mores. So you can do it in the microwave, just don't cook it for very long or it becomes yucky. Or you can do it over a fire if your family has a fire one night, and then just like you would make a s'mores, put your puffy Peeps with your chocolate in between graham crackers and eat it. And I promise that it will be yummy if you like the taste of the sugar on the Peeps. Alright you guys, that is our lesson today, all about states of matter and the gas or the air inside the Peeps. Remember, the gas is what made, the air is what made the Peep expand and get really puffy, and it's also what helped our Peeps float. You can see my Peeps are still floating because of the air that's inside them. Alright you guys, have a great day. Bye!